Today on the 1012 Picks Pod, myself and Chase are making picks for all 8 Big 12 games in Week 14, the final week of the regular season, or in some cases, the final week of the season. This is a fun one with lots of thoughts on rivalry games that don't exist, and some random tangents. It is just Chase and I, and yet somehow we've filled more than an hour. Plus, I've got some thoughts on the Eric Morris hire for Oklahoma State as the new football head coach, all coming up on the 1012.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. Black Friday game day on Prime is an epic day of live sports. It all starts at 9 a.m. Eastern with the Capital One Skins game. Then, Black Friday football returns when the Bears take on the Eagles at 3 p.m. And it culminates with the final night of Emirates NBA Cup group play with Bucks Knicks at 7 p.m. and Mavs Lakers at 10 p.m. Black Friday game day, only on Prime.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels. On everything from lamps to ceiling fans. Even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes. Now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox. Clean feels good.
Welcome to the 1012 Picks Pod, where every week myself, Phillip, and Chase A. Kiddy from BetMGM make picks for every Big 12 game on the schedule. 1012 Podcast is the flagship show of the 1012 Network. Find every show on the network at 1012network.com. We are also partners with Sports Social, Europe's biggest sports podcast network. Wherever you're listening, please do us a favor. Leave us 5 stars and a review. Be like a nice way of saying thanks. Seems appropriate for this time of year. And it helps the show out. If you're watching or listening on YouTube, like the video, subscribe, leave us a comment. I would appreciate it. Joining me as he does every week is my good friend Chase A. Kiddy. Chase, how's it going? How's the holiday week treating you, friend?
Thanks for asking, Phillip. I'll give you a brief rundown of what's happened today. I was really excited to sit down and take notes for our final week of the regular season episode for this season of Big 12 football. Here's what happened next. My wife's dog tore her ACL. Our fridge stopped working, and my son shit in the hallway on the floor. So, guess who's got no notes for this podcast and is just ripping it off the cuff? This guy.
Just to be clear, the dog tore the ACL or the dog tore your wife's ACL?
The dog tore the dog's ACL.
Okay.
Which, for a dog, for you dog people who are like, well, actually, it's called a CCL for a dog, evidently. I don't know anything about dogs. That's dog ligaments.
Okay. I just needed to make sure I had clarification on that because I was a little bit, it's like the dog tore your wife's ACL? Because I need to know how, because that sounds excruciatingly painful. Like already painful, but like, ugh. So thank you for the clarification.
Yes. She is hopping around on 3 legs. She is a very angry Aussie. So that the hate, she's like Anakin Skywalker right now. The hate is really fueling her. She's still moving around very well for a 3-legged dog.
Oh, man. Oh, what a time to be alive. Obviously, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, whether you're listening to this day before, day of. We're dropping this an episode a day early because of the holiday. Maybe you can listen to it on your over the river and through the woods and to grandmother's house you go, or while you're trying to cook Thanksgiving meal or make pies or whatever. So thank you for joining us. Obviously, no guest this week. Listen, I could fly and tell you, like, I just wanted to spend the last week of the regular season with my good friend Chase so we could just do this together. But really, I waited to the last second and couldn't find a guest, which is fine. We're going to have a great time, no matter what. And it's the week of Thanksgiving. Like, of course you're not going to find a guest last minute for this. And so that's fine. Before we get to picks or last week's picks results, obviously the big news for the Oklahoma State or Big 12, despite men's basketball just absolutely killing it this week at the start of Feast Week, is Oklahoma State has a head coach. They have officially announced the hiring of North Texas head coach Eric Morris, who will finish out his tenure there and coach the UNT through the rest of its regular season and postseason, which is great, nice, awesome, wonderful. There's a lot of UNT fans who are posting a lot of weird stats about Oklahoma State the last 2 years and ignoring everything else the program's done, the past decade plus before that. But it's fine. It's fine. Listen, this is a great hire. I have no idea it'll work. I think it will. We've seen great hires fail and bad hires work out. And so my thing is always, of the names that have been connected to Oklahoma State, this is one that I've seen a lot. This is one I feel comfortable with. The guy has been something of a quarterback whisperer. It's been a while since Oklahoma State's been successfully able to recruit or develop a quarterback. And so it'd be nice for that to be able to happen again. The guy's got one of the best offenses in the country every year, everywhere he goes as OC or head coach. As an Oklahoma State fan, I can tell you we're all pretty happy to have that back in Stillwater because it's been a minute since that has happened as well. I think obviously a lot's going to develop. Who he brings with him is important. Understanding that this isn't a quick turnaround where you're just going to go back to 9-10 wins next season. Even if he brings a large portion of UNT's roster with him, I think the wise and smart thing to do, knowing what I do about athletic director Chad Weiberg, is this will be a rebuild. We want to get back to the point where we're consistently winning football games every year. And that be the expectation. They're going to spend, or at least try to spend like that. And I don't think anyone's going to be like, 2026 season's just going to be, everything's back on course. No, I think this is a rebuild. I almost point to what's happened at Texas Tech of like, look, give it 2 or 3 years, give it 3 or 4 years. And that's the expectation here. So I'm excited to see how he fills out staff, who joins him. I certainly hope the quarterback does. Mestamaker joins him. I also want to make one last point here. The fact that Oklahoma State was able to do this and announce this now, before the Lane Kiffin chaos reaches its just like peak insanity this coming weekend, I think is incredible. OSU's done. Like, we're just like, it's good. Poached somebody that Arkansas apparently wanted. That hire's a mess. But the fact that we have no idea what anyone else is going to do because it all hinges on what Lane Kiffin does and da-da-da. And OSU's like, no, we got our guy. We're good. We're set. We're good. Thanks. We're going to focus on the future now, I think is just a massively underrated part of this whole storyline.
Did it feel to you like Oklahoma State told Morris, hey, we're announcing this? Like, it's cool that you're in the mix for a potential conference championship, potential playoff berth. You want to be focused on that. We're going to give you the time to do that. That's all cool. We're telling everybody you're the next coach. Like,
I think I would guess that there's a little bit of a mutual, like, listen, we're going to go ahead and tell everybody, but we'll let you coach it out. Like, you want to coach it out, that's fine. You can do that, but we're not going to wait.
We're making the announcement.
It doesn't make a difference. Like, go ahead and tell your team, because you're going to be playing the conference, probably going to play in the conference championship game as long as you beat Temple this weekend. There's a chance you're in the play. Like, if there's in playoff, he's going to coach. If they're just going to a bowl game, he won't. But like, listen, we're just going to get this done. And that makes that's better for North Texas because they can go ahead and start the process, right? He's going to continue to coach through the end of the season. North Texas can begin their process now a little bit earlier than some teams who are going to still wait a few more days or another week or two to make their decision. And so it's been, to me, it helps UNT. And they're going to have, listen, the investment that's been there, the investments they've been talking about making in theory to try and keep him, but now, getting some comments out last week about what they're doing to try and continue to build this program that's in the North Dallas region. Like, UNT has set themselves up to continue to potentially be successful. So, like, I think this was, and it's just so much better than like we're just going to pretend like this isn't done for 6 days. Like, just announce it. I'm so glad it's done. Like, I am so glad it's done. Now, obviously, we've been waiting all freaking season for a head coaching hire. But the fact that they went ahead and were just like, this is who it is. On the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, before we have the Lane Kiffin stuff, before the Egg Bowl, before this weekend, before more coaches are fired, before, so-and-so didn't get this guy, so now they're going to throw all their chips at, no, this is who we want. Do you want to be the head coach here? Yes. Great. Let's just get this done and we'll let you coach out the rest of the way and we'll be finished.
No notes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I was so afraid of like, what is it going to be like waiting for Monday and all the chaos that's coming down. It's like, nope, we're good. We're done. We're moving on. We're just focused on the hope for the future. We don't have to be sitting here like, is Lane Kiffin going to leave Ole Miss to come here? And if not, then who are we going to hire? So I love it. It's wonderful. One thing I don't love is last week's results, which weren't bad. They weren't bad, but they certainly don't help me in an effort to try and get back above 500 when I go 500. You and I, air quotes, won the week last week, both going 4-4. Chase, you hit the under 55.5 in Iowa State, Kansas. Arizona team total over 34.5 versus Baylor. Oklahoma State plus 14.5 and Charlotte plus 44 were your wins. The misses were Houston -1. That was a consensus curse for the three of us, which brings our consensus to 5-8 this season. You missed on Utah -17, Cincinnati plus 2.5, and the under 49 in Colorado, Arizona State, which was so right there until the fourth quarter, which was just like so unnecessary. Like the game's won, we don't have to keep. Fine, great. Thanks for ruining what should have been a win for you and I there. Unfortunately, we both caught the loss there. So 4-4 on the week, 56-55, and 1 for you so far.
And the easiest one of all, I tried to tell people, Charlotte, easy money. I get Kirby Smart. Kirby who? Shh, don't disrespect the 49ers.
I'm going to remember that moving forward, though. I have my note of like when Georgia favored by 40-plus points in a game they could win by 44 once they walk off the bus. Don't expect them to actually cover it because they don't care enough to do that. My wins were Arizona -6.5 versus Baylor, under 49 in UCF Oklahoma State, Utah team total over 34.5, and BYU -2.5 versus Cincinnati. The misses were Kansas plus 4.5 versus Iowa State. Woof to that game. Houston -1, as I mentioned, and the under 49 in Colorado, Arizona State. My Missouri plus 7.5 versus in my non-Big 12 pick. Didn't work out either. I'm really annoyed. I should have taken the Tulsa one. I always have like 3 or 4 in my list of options, and I feel like the last few weeks I've picked the wrong one every time. And like I'll have 1 or 2 that are right, but they will not be the ones that I pick for the show.
We've all been there. Happens to everybody.
I feel like I just need to, whatever I have in my list from now on, I just got to put all my non-Big 12s. Because if I do that and I go 2-1, then it works out better than just picking one and picking the loser every time.
Or you go 0-3, and you got to wait
deeper.
deeper hole.
Yeah, also an option. I am 52-60. I need a big week this week and championship week and bowl week if I have any shot by getting back to 500. Our guest James, 2-6, hit on Arizona -6.5 and Arizona State -6.5. Missed on everything else. Guests are down to 48-60 on the season. There was a moment there where the guests were on a roll and almost to 500. And there's been a couple bad weeks that have kind of derailed them. But that's all right. That's the guests. We love them anyways. Okay. We've got a fully loaded week. We've got 8 Big 12 games. Everyone's in action. That should have been the same thing last week. We need more weeks where everyone's actually playing. It'd be nice. Alas, we get it. 16 teams, so on and so forth. So might as well just dive in. Chase, you ready to go?
I am not at all, Phillip, but let's do it anyway.
This is my opportunity. It's right here. It's ready for the taking. And I cannot wait. All right. It is the final week of the regular season. For multiple teams, the final game of the season. No postseason. We know for Colorado, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia, very likely no postseason for some other Big 12 teams that are in action trying to earn their 6th win this weekend. But everyone's playing. It's week 14. We have weeknight games. And as you all know, but because every podcast and so on's first, even hopefully the week 14 10-12 picks pod, we go in chronological order every week. That means we're going to start on Friday, 2 Friday games, 11 a.m. ESPN. The Kansas Jayhawks, desperate for a 6th win to go back to a bowl game this year, welcoming the Utah Utes to Lawrence, Kansas. This is rivalry weekend, and so we're going to have some fun with that as we go through these games. I couldn't even pretend to like make a rivalry here. Like it's one of those like Utah and Kansas are in the same conference, and you go, okay, sure, awesome. It's a it I yeah. This conference is never gonna. These giant conferences are never gonna make sense. They're never gonna feel like right. Even the SEC was like, well, our teams touch each other. You're like, well, yeah, they probably do. Not in the way you want them to. This is the 5th ever meeting between these two teams. Series is tied 2-2. They last met in 1996 in Salt Lake when Utah won. They also met in 93, and then in back-to-back seasons back in 1950 and 1951. So very historic rivalry here between the Jayhawks and the Utes. As of right now, Utah is a 11.5 point favorite in the game. By VSiN, shout out to Unabated, which we're now using for stuff. Yeah, I love making a switch right at the end of the season. Total is around 59.5 or 60, depending upon the book. Wake up, book. Wake up. You know what, Chase? I make you go first like all the time because you always win. So I'll go ahead and go first here. I don't have a lot of notes this week. Normally I try and write a lot of notes down. But I've been traveling over Thanksgiving. I just drove 4 hours to OKC and back from Owasso. I'm visiting family. I'm doing this in my father's office. So I'll read through the numbers that I have while Chase does me a favor and looks up the Utah team total in this game, which is becoming a weekly ritual. SP Plus has Utah minus 15.1. T-Shoe has Utah minus 13.5. FEI has Utah minus 14.6. Beta's got Utah minus 22.94. Parker's got Utah minus 11.3. Pear has Utah minus 14.8. And Kelly Ford gives Utah an 82% chance to win. So listen, everyone's got Utah by a double-digit score, which makes sense. Even in Lawrence, and I understand what we saw from Utah last week, Utah is going to be favored in this game. By the way, they dropped a spot in the playoff rankings to drop behind Miami because they had a close game against Kansas State, which still just feels like, hey, guys, we're doing what we need to do here and helping the ACC out. Like, stop it, you jerks. Chase, Utah team total?
35.5 at DraftKings, 36.5 at FanDuel, and several other books.
So the best I can get is 35.5. Utah team total over 35.5. I've been getting 34.5 the last few weeks, which is really helpful because I feel confident in them getting to that 35 number. Let me just tell you, it may be a point higher. I still feel pretty confident about Utah putting up some points here, even on the road at Kansas. Let's see, it's 51. Let's read the last few scores by Utah: 51, 55, 45, 53. They scored 21 against BYU, then it goes 42, 48, 10, 31. So yeah, I'm pretty confident in just taking the team total over here. So I'm going to ride with that in their season finale and see them beating Kansas. And unfortunately for Kansas, finishing the year 5-7 and missing out on a bowl game, which is just, it's hard to see. It's hard to see when Kansas has now going to have 3 straight losses to end the season and go into a bowl game.
I'm just going to lay it. I had the note last week that Utah has covered, I believe, every game that they've won this year in conference play. I think that was the stat. Maybe it was just every game period. And then that got blown up when they had the crazy game against Kansas State and they won 51-47. They don't cover the 17.5. Okay, so now they are almost perfect in covering every game they've won so far. I think against Kansas, are you going to have that kind of rushing defense performance again? I'm going to guess no. Kansas hasn't been super impressive the last 6 or 7 games. The number is, it's double digits, but it's not 17.5 like closed last week. So we're seeing still some 11.5s here on the board. That is decently valuable because this has moved to 12.5 in a lot of spots, including our shop at BetMGM. So I'm going to go ahead and lay an 11.5 with the Utah and not get too fancy with it.
I mean, I feel like we both picked winners, even if we pick something different. It's like two ways of saying the same thing. Utah's going to score a lot of points and win big.
Yeah, it's all about where you want to shade your risk toward. Do you want to shade it toward, hey, maybe you don't cover, but it's another kind of shootout like last week? Like your play that you're choosing works out better for you if it's another game like last week.
Right.
And then I have slightly different risk profile for just laying it straightforward. So
yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, last week was weird. I was so happy when they hit the team total over like at halftime. I was like, well, no matter what happens here, I get a win. Yay. Ooh, what a weird game. It was very classic Big 12. We didn't have a Monday pod. Like that was the most like classic Big 12 conference matchup. It was incredible. Like it was the opposite incredible of like BYU Cincinnati, which was also an incredible football game, but for like very different reasons. One was just like classic old Big 12 shootout. I say shootout, even though it was the ground game for Kansas State that was terrorizing Utah for some reason. And then you got BYU Cincinnati, which was like, I think closer than the score indicated, and just two really good football teams playing good sound football, except one team played way better sound football. It's just phenomenal. Two phenomenal games last weekend. I'm not sure if we're going to get a phenomenal game with Utah, Kansas. We might get a phenomenal game with an actual rivalry game. This one on Friday night at 8 p.m. God's time on Fox. It's the 99th edition of the Duel in the Desert, in which Arizona and Arizona State battle for the Territorial Cup. Arizona leads the all-time series 51-45-1. Arizona State won last year and has won 7 of the last 10. It's a rivalry game. It's a real rivalry game on rivalry weekend. By the way, to everyone's complaining that BYU Utah isn't this weekend. I get why fans of the teams want the rivalry games played this weekend because of the tradition. I completely understand that. You want to go to the last game of the regular season and play your rival. It just adds more to it a lot of times. From a television viewer, like, I'm okay with every rivalry game not being this weekend because there's so many like marquee rivalry games to watch. You're going to have to miss some. And so I'm okay with the idea of I get to watch the Holy War when it's on because I don't have to choose between the Holy War or the Terrible. Like I don't have to choose between every other rivalry game that's on the same exact day. And so I'm okay with them being spread out a little bit. I would like the Big 12 to do something this weekend that feels like it's a little more of like a consistency, even if it's not a true rivalry. But I understand why things get shuffled around a little bit more in the Big 12. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
I do not have anything to add to that.
Great. Awesome.
Let me say, I do have something to add to that. I'm going to hold it for the game where I feel it's appropriate.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can roll with that. Arizona, currently a 1.5 point favorite in this one. Total in this one is new system. Got to scroll around a little bit more to find things. They're having to go entirely off the logos. I'm almost having a harder time finding stuff. There it is. Hit refresh. I don't want the spread. I want the total. I have a hard time with the spread to total here. Okay. Total in this one's 48.5 for the most part. Chase, what would you like, sir?
I like Arizona. I think you look at the last 6 games, really since the Iowa State game. I mean, Arizona has been. You and I had a conversation, Phillip, 3 or 4 weeks ago, where we were kind of critical of Arizona, and we didn't really know what they were, what direction they were going to go in to close the season. And I'm not necessarily saying we were wrong at the time. I do think it was a little bit of fog of war-ish. And now on November 25th, looking back into the meat of the season, you can see, okay, they were on an upward trajectory. They are figuring things out. They are playing more consistently. They have a balance that I think you need to be successful in this league in 2025. So I think I trust what they are a little bit more right now. I think I trust the personnel that they have available to play in this game right now. I think I've talked about this before. When you have a game that opens as a pick, which this one did, I sort of inherently favor the road team because the fact that it is priced as a coin flip makes a lot of people just reflexively go for that home team. and the sportsbook, knowing that, is hanging it as a pick'em anyway. So that I kind of track the other way, and that is the direction that this game is moving right now. You're seeing some -1s, some -2s, some -1.5s now. So you could still find a couple of -1s here on Tuesday evening with Arizona. Fanatics has one. That's an exchange. So there's still definitely some exchange -1s. A lot of other places have gone. Bovada has a -1. A lot of other places have gone to 1.5 and 2. I will go ahead and take the Arizona -1, Arizona money line, whatever we want to call this.
Yeah, you can do Arizona -1. That works. Okay. Every one of our stats we read favors Arizona except for beta, which gives Arizona State a 0.34 shot. Now, I say everyone favors Arizona. It's anywhere from pair, which has Arizona by 0.4, to the biggest one is Parker is Arizona by 5.3. And there's a lot in between. It's like 2.8, half, 4. California put it as a 50-50, but to Arizona's side. And so I'm like, okay, Arizona seems like the right side. I think you're right here. The thing I had against Arizona was like they were losing the close games, right? They beat the Kansas State, won that one score game. They got blown up at Iowa State. Congratulations on blowing out Oklahoma State. Everyone does it. And they lost a close game against BYU, and they lost a close game at Houston. And I just was like, I just don't know that I believe in this team. And then to some extent, the schedule eased up greatly down the stretch. But they did have a game at Cincinnati where they went in and they won in pretty convincing fashion. And I do feel like this team has figured itself out because you blow out a bad Colorado team, you blow out Baylor at home, you win a close game against Arizona or Kansas, you win a good game at Cincinnati, and now you're in a rivalry game on the road against an Arizona State team that I just don't know what to expect from, but I feel like I've seen enough to be like, they're going to give them a fight here at home. It's a rivalry game. And so where I get interested in this one is not on the side, but on the total, because I see 47.5 looks like the lowest number available right now, which is good because only one of the projections have it at 47.5, and that's FEI. No one has it below that. 52 at SP Plus, 50 at T-Shoe, 52.33 at Beta, 49.1 at Parker, 52.1 at Pair. The way Arizona and Arizona State have been scoring, especially how they've been kind of scoring later in games, makes me think this might be one of those oh no, it's not going to get there, close games in the first half, and then the two teams just start kind of trading scores a little bit. I'm going to take the over 47.5 in this one. I have a hard time with which side to take, and so I feel a little bit better about the projections on this game of going over the 47.5. And I wish I'd done the research to see like what, how do they typically go over? Do they typically go under? I don't know. It's just going off this season right now. I'm going to ride with those vibes. Speaking of vibes, it's a vibe everyone enjoys. Can we take a break for ads? We'll be right back.
REI Co-op presents a perfect outdoor moment with the perfect gift. Picture this. You're ripping with your favorite person. Bluebird skies, blower powder, and frankly, you're skiing like legends.
So sick. Another lap?
Thanks to REI's curation, from lid to sticks, you nailed the gift.
No way. How'd you know?
Does it get more perfect than that? Give without guessing. Shop in store or visit rei.com.
All right. Saturday. We got everything else is on Saturday. There are no primetime games for the Big 12 in the final week of the regular season, which is nuts. There's one afternoon game. Everything else is in the morning. They're just like, let's just get this all out of the way. We don't care enough about the Big 12. We're just going to put it all in the morning. Enjoy, y'all. This is what you get.
Don't you think that's because, though, there's not a lot of compelling rivalry content in this conference right now?
Well,
in Week 14. There's not a lot of Week 14 rivalries. The best one is Friday.
Right. The actual one is Friday. But I'm glad you said that, because it leads me to what we're going to do a little bit more of moving forward, which is there's a lot of games to me that should or could be rivalries if fans were more willing to buy into that stuff. And there was like, I don't just have a rivalry. I'm like, why? Rivalries are fun. There's a rivalry called the Old Oaken Bucket. Like, folks, make up a trophy. It's fun to have trophies. Trophy games are fun. I don't know why people don't. I don't know why more fans are like, I'm not going to, like, I don't care enough about that. So let's start with things off. 11 a.m. God's time on ESPN. West Virginia welcoming Texas Tech out to Morgantown. The John Denver Duel or the Battle for the Country Roads Cup. None of those are real, but they could be if y'all would just buy into this stuff. Like, it's right there. It's West Virginia, Texas Tech. It's two teams that just, like, feel very Holger City, even though one of them only coached at one of these schools. It's just like, come on. This just feels like it should be, I feel like Texas Tech is like the desert version of West Virginia Mountain Crazies.
Yes, this is the game I wanted to hold comment for. So this is multiple seasons in a row now where West Virginia is closing the regular season with Texas Tech. And it does feel a little bit like we're trying to make fetch happen here. I got to tell you, as a West Virginia guy, I don't feel rivalry with Texas Tech. I don't feel animosity. I feel something that is not quite the Spider-Man meme. But, like, if you took the Spider-Man meme and then put, like, a coonskin hat on one Spider-Man and then put like a 10-gallon hat on the other Spider-Man, like, it's something very close to that. Lubbock and Morgantown, I think, are very spiritually similar places. I think the intensity is obviously higher at West Virginia, but I don't think that's a comment about Texas Tech. I think that is sort of geopolitical and at a state level. Like, there's just things you cannot replicate outside of West Virginia. You cannot replicate the fact, like, the thing that's not comparable is Texas has like 1 million college programs, and West Virginia has WVU and Marshall, and nobody really cares about Marshall. So, like, there are parts that are not parallel, but a lot of the other stuff is. And I just think, as a rivalry, I see it coming. I get that they're trying to make it happen. Obviously, there are fun things you can do with John Denver and guns, but I just don't think this is like, you need a different word. It's like this is like a frenemy.
Yeah, thank you. That is a great point, because that is the thing I think that's in the problem. And again, West Virginia fans saying, well, no one is our rival except for Pitt. I'm kidding, of course.
Tech, Maryland, some Cincinnati.
No, don't say Cincinnati. There's a bunch of West Virginia fans who get all up in arms about the
certain age
record,
guess,
and then they call, hey, we look at a record against Cincinnati, but you guys call Penn State a rivalry.
Well, that's aspirational, is what that is. That's
we have the frenemy thing has got to be, because it's kind of the same thing with like Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. Like, we don't like each other, but also we kind of do. Like, and so we kind of want it to be a rivalry, and so we want to play every year, but it's not because we hate each other. There's just like, we'd love to all get drunk and listen to Red Dirt, together, and then have the football game and then curse each other out, whoever wins. And so, like, I think there's almost like a lot of those in the Big 12, which is a very unique situation versus like other conferences, because either there's like pure hatred or complete indifference. And I feel like a lot of Big 12 teams, because of all the emotional trauma that we've been put through the last like 20 years of realignment, and how we get talked about and everything, like, there's it's almost like a sibling rivalry. That's how it's like, listen, I'm going to talk trauma. I'm going to talk all the trash I want to this person, but if you say anything to them, like, we will stand up for other teams in the Big 12, except Utah, against anyone outside of the conference. But in the conference, we can say whatever we want to each other. And so it's not a true rivalry. It is like a sibling rivalry.
Yeah, and there's a growing number of teams as the Big 12 has expanded, where you have more teams that are in that kind of weird situation where you are not the biggest rival of your biggest rival.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just leaves a lot of programs uneven and kind of looking for, how do you build culture? How do you build meaning in a conference that has a bunch of teams across all 4 time zones that don't have historical bonds to each other and are just kind of smashed together by the winds of the fate tempest. And it's I don't know. I think we're kind of having a playful conversation about West Virginia, Texas Tech here, but I do think there are deeper questions that go to the core of like what this conference is in 2025.
No, I think it applies in a lot of cases because we can talk West Virginia, Texas Tech, and from your perspective, I can talk Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. Like that fits. I think that talks about like there's a lot of
gunplay.
There's a lot of non-rivalries in the Big 12. Like obviously you have Kansas State, Iowa State, Farmageddon, that's a real rivalry. But like Oklahoma State and Iowa State, like we're drinking, like there's literally the drinking buddies like meme, but also like those games are so stressful we hate each other, and so there's that again. It goes back to that, like there is a unique bond of the teams within the Big 12 conference where I don't think in many cases we all have teams we hate, but there's not. You can't have the level of hate that like OU, OSU do, or Texas and everyone else in Texas does. And so like it's kind of like why I always joked like I liked the name Red Dirt Rivalry for OSU Texas Tech because it's the two teams that, it's not the Red River, it's the Red Dirt, which everyone's like, well, then they're going to make fun of us. Let's like bring it on. We're ready to, like, we understand that we're the also ran version of whatever you are. So I don't know, but yeah, I enjoy these conversations because I think trophy games are fun. Like I just think it's fun. Like I like that two teams play for a bucket. Like let's have fun. Make trophies for fun. We can all lean into this nonsense and enjoy, especially considering all the real rivalry games keep dying out. And so, all right. Well, this rivalry game, Battle for the Country Roads Cup, sounds like fun. I mean, come on, that's a good one. It would piss West Virginia fans off to try and do anything Country Roads related to Texas Tech. Right now, the Red Raiders are anywhere from 23.5 to 24.5 road favorite in Morgantown. Total around 53.5. I see some 54. Listen, it has been a better than expected year for West Virginia. Texas Tech is a runaway train on its way to the Big 12 title game, a likely Big 12 title, and the college football playoff. And so I get very torn here on one of two things. Do I think Texas Tech tries to just wallop West Virginia to continue to do anything and everything they can to try and earn a top 4 seed in the playoff? Although them getting to even be the 5 seed and host a first round playoff game sounds like it would be so crazy. I, like Lubbock, would get drunk and burn down, like West Virginia after many football games. So it'd be crazy. It's like, do they do that, or are they just like, all right, let's just get out there, win this game, and go home? Like, let's just not worry about it. And so it makes me concerned. Like, I'm really concerned on the line here because I'm like, Texas Tech should beat West Virginia. They should cover this line. Like, Texas Tech should cover this line. They cover all their lines except for one. Like, that's just what they do. At the same time, I'm like, but do they need to? Like, should I be worried about them just like phoning it in? Listen, I'm going to ride with Texas Tech just to understand because I think 23.5. And so the fact that I can get it for 23.5, which is under 24, which feels good because 24 is totally should win this by. I'm just letting everyone know, like, I'm doing this with a slight bit of hesitation and concern that Texas Tech gets up enough and just kind of goes, just run the ball, run the clock, let's go home. We've got a game in Arlington to get ready for.
That's cool. I'm going to lay it with Texas Tech.
Okay, so we're both laying with Texas Tech. Great.
And I think the number I saw was 23.5. Yeah, there's 23.5 out there, which is nice. Like, you'd like to be on the right side of 24. I'd like to add this to close this game out. You've mentioned Country Roads a couple times here. I just want to say this about the song. This is a 2-part point. Number one, the clip of the Asian kid in the bar yelling, Country Roads isn't about West Virginia. Everybody knows the clip I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Stop sending it to me. I've seen it. Okay? I've seen it. I got it. I'm so tired of people pushing this divisive agenda Okay? We used to be a nation. Okay? Please understand. Phillip, this is what pisses me off. The same people that love to say, well, actually, the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Shenandoah River aren't even in West Virginia. First of all, you're factually incorrect. Go to Harper's Ferry. Okay? They're right there. You're in the state of West Virginia. They're right there. Okay? So you're just wrong. You are factually wrong. Debate me anytime on that. You're wrong. Number two, these are the same people. You're trying. How many things do the people of West Virginia have? It's not a lot. Okay. Did you know that 50% of the employed people in the state of West Virginia, the people who have jobs, more than 50% of them are employed outside the state of West Virginia. It's an insane stat. I don't even know how it's possible. Okay. It's a poor state. It doesn't have a lot. And you're trying to take one of the only things they have, which is the John Denver song that is nominally about the state. And these are the same people that will tell you, I'm going to go on this for another 5 minutes. I'm just letting you know in advance. Same people that'll tell you shouldn't punch down. You shouldn't punch down in life. You should aim your criticism up in life. You shouldn't take away from those. The same people that are like, show me on the map where the Blue Ridge Mountains are in the state of West Virginia. It's not there. It's actually written about Virginia. Guys, the song was written about Maryland. Let me blow your mind. The songwriter is on the record. Neither John Denver nor his partner who wrote the song had ever been to the state of West Virginia. They were in Western Maryland. They look west and think, I could write a song about that thing over there. That's it. That's how they wrote the song. They wrote it in Western Maryland about a place they'd never been in West Virginia. It's our song, Go Away and Shut Up.
I figured out how to make Texas Tech, West Virginia a real rivalry.
I gave you like 12 minutes there, so I hope so.
The next time this game is played in Lubbock, at some point in the game, play the Asian Kid video on the Jumbotron the stadium. I would do it.
It's a funny video. It is funny.
No, but the fact that you're that mad, like, that's it. Now I found.
I'm mad about it because it's been sent to me 47,000 times, Phillip, and every time somebody sends it to me, including one guy who I think has sent it to me 6 different times and thought each time that it was the first time that he sent it to me, every time somebody thinks they're making a brilliant point that's never been made before. It blows my mind. Are there any other games this weekend?
Yeah, we can move on to the next one. Okay, moving down the list, another rivalry game that's not a rivalry game because it's not a real rivalry. I like to call it the Cardiac Clash because for about 15 years in a row, this was the closest series in the Big 12 Conference, the closest games every year when these two teams met. That is, of course, Oklahoma State and Iowa State. The Cowboys, their season finally coming to an end. Thank God it's happening at 11 a.m., so it's not having to stretch out any longer than it need be. Welcoming the Cyclones to Stillwater on Saturday on ESPNU. This game will also officially end the Mike Gundy era. I know he's not the head coach anymore, but it's still kind of his era because it's all his coaches and players and so on, because the next time the Cowboys take the field in a competitive game after this weekend, it will be with new head coach Eric Morris from North Texas. So this is the season's finally coming to an end for Oklahoma State. This is not a rivalry game, but it's drinking buddies, but like it could be, I think just a drinking buddies trophy. Like I think that's just it just needs to be a giant stein that is filled and then everyone just kind of pass around and takes a drink out of. Actually, that's gross. But we'll workshop that as best we can. Okay. At the moment, Iowa State is currently a 14 to 14.5 point favorite in this one. Let's see. Total in this one, that matters to me. About 46.5. I see that's about consensus across the board. Chase, you're up first, sir. What would you like here?
Well, Phillip, as this podcast's number one Oklahoma State football fan, I got to tell you, besides being really excited for our future head coach, Eric Morris, I am really excited to once again take the Cowboys plus 14.5. Maybe a sprinkle on the money line here.
Oh.
We can't be stopped. This cover machine cannot be stopped, and we're taking this thing all the way to the end. And, if anybody wants to invite Oklahoma State to a bowl game that they are nowhere near qualifying for, so I can get one more Oklahoma State plus the points bet in, I'd really appreciate that.
As I've mentioned before, Bill Connolly, I swear, is like just attacking me personally every time he lists what the score would be or the line would be between Oklahoma State and D2 favorite Harding University, which is this college in the town that I currently reside and the school that I cheer for. I just feel like it's a personal attack. Based on how things have gone, because Oklahoma State's defense is the thing that's continued to keep them in games. And Zane Flores, listen, he is the worst quarterback since Azo Poggi. Oklahoma State fans will understand that reference. And so, we're getting down to a line where we're getting down to a line of 14.5. Like, we're getting down to like 2 touchdowns. It's not 3 touchdowns and 4 touchdowns anymore. And so that value's continuing to decrease. And so I get a little bit nervous. What I think I'm going to ride with instead is I'm just going to take the under because the defense has done its job the last few weeks. Oklahoma State should have beaten Kansas State like 2 weeks ago. And then last week, Kansas State suddenly can't be stopped again by Utah. What? This isn't don't take that as a correlation between the two. I'm just trying to say that don't make no sense. So I'm going to say final home game, new head coach is hired. Fans are going to be jacked. Players are going to be like, is our new head coach here? He's not, but he might be watching this game take. So even with the total, the best is 4. Well, no, there's a 47.5. Oh, glorious. Glorious. I will take under 47.5 in this one. I'm only taking one normal line. Okay, moving on. Another morning game. Shocker. The final game for TNT this year. Props to TNT. They had the Houston, Tennessee game on from the Players era. The basketball broadcast is just as good as the football broadcast. It's the Big 12 network, and it's incredible. It's so good. The football coverage this season has been bar none the best for Big 12 in years, and every Big 12 fan has figured it out, and we want more TNT, and TNT buy more Big 12, put more Big 12 on. 2 football games a week next season, as much basketball as you want. Can you do softball? You want to take some softball and baseball games as well? I would have zero problem with that. I don't care if you put it on True TV with some of your broadcasters. That's fine. Just I will download the True TV app for my Roku and just to watch that stuff if you continue to cover it in the way that you have football and basketball so far this season. So shout out to TNT. We need more of it. Okay. It feels like every game between teams from Texas should have a rivalry name. And yet somehow Baylor and Houston doesn't. Every team in Texas should be considered a rivalry. Yet these two teams have only faced off 30 times. They met every year from 1976 to 1995 as members of the Southwest Conference, and then didn't face off again until 2023 when Houston joined the Big 12. They were like, nah, we're going to play all each other. No, we're not. No, we're not playing each other. No, ain't going to do that. No, we have to again. This might be the least rivalry game between two teams in the state of Texas. There's probably more rivalry between Texas A&M Commerce and Northwestern State or Texas Tech than there is Baylor and Houston, which doesn't make any sense. But that's just the vibes that come from this, which is I don't understand. Do better. Cougars and Bears, come on. Give us something. Okay? I don't care what it is. Just give us something. You know what you could do, because both fan bases don't want to go to their team's football games, you can literally just have a trophy that's like a tarp, just a tarp ring, because that's what should be covering the upper half of your stadium, because nobody wants to be at these games. That's the trophy. I figured it out. Pay me my money. Right now, Baylor is... Where'd you go? Man, I'm having trouble with this new site. Shouldn't change sites up this late in the season because it starts throwing everything for a whack.
2.5 everywhere.
There it is.
And
to Baylor side, yeah.
Baylor. Yeah.
And the total
59.5 or 60 is the only two I see at actual books.
Great. Chase? No, or am I up? I go on these tangents, then I forget where I am.
I'm still out of breath from the West Virginia rant, so I don't
okay.
know.
All right, I think I'm first here. I apologize, everyone. The numbers are interesting here, because it's weird considering, like, Houston has been the better team than Baylor all season long. Like, absolutely. We all feel that way. We've seen it on the field. And yet Baylor is a favorite in this game. And the metrics are a little bit all over the place here. Hold on, I forgot to write betas down, so let me pull it up on the FC Plus has Houston minus 3.4. T-Shoe has Baylor minus 4. FEI has Baylor minus 2.6. Parker has Houston minus 2.6. Pear has Baylor minus 1.2. Kelly Ford gives Baylor a 59% chance to win. What am I missing here that makes me say Baylor's should be favored in this game, having watched both teams this season? Okay, Beta's got Baylor as a 2.56 favorite. I get that they're at home, and Houston's looked a little bit funny down the stretch here, and I think that's probably what it is. I guess
that is what it is. I mean,
okay.
Look, you want to look at their last. Okay, they win at Arizona State end of October. What have they done this month? Lose outright at home by 10 points to West Virginia. Win by 3 points at UCF. Lose outright at home to TCU. So that's where you're getting the
November
price
has
from.
been bad. It's been a bad November. It really has. I mean, they were terrible against TCU, which didn't make any sense. I mean,
And
you missed two field goals.
1 and 2 outright. You lost to two bad teams.
Yeah.
And I would argue the TCU loss right now might be worse than the West Virginia loss, because the West Virginia loss, good team, doing things different schematically all of a sudden that you couldn't prepare for watching game tape, and you were -4 in turnovers. You're going to lose that game 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
The TCU one is the one where I go, whoa, what's going on there?
TCU turned the ball over 4 times. You win the turnover battle 3-1. You get outgained. Like, they had more. TCU had more penalties. You missed 2 field goals, but like that, that game made no sense to me. Like, yeah, I don't. And I just look at this game, and I'm like, is Baylor going to actually get a 6th win? Look, we all know Dave Aranda's coming back from another season. Large part of that's due to the fact that you don't have an AD at the moment. So who's going to make that call on? So they just went, I'll just keep him 1 more year and save on our buyout when we do inevitably fire him. Does Baylor does that motivate Baylor in the last game of the season to go, we're gonna do this. We're gonna beat Houston and go to a bowl game, and they get to go 8-4. I guess. I hate this. I guess I'm good. I cannot. Like, it physically hurts me to take Baylor, having watched enough Baylor this season to be like, why on God's green earth would you take Baylor to win a game? I don't know. I don't know why you would do that. What'd you say the total? No, I guess I'm just going to take Houston. I can't. I know they haven't played well. I don't care. I just can't take Baylor. I can't do it. Physically can't do it. I've watched too much Baylor to be like, yeah, I'm going to pick them in a game where they're favored to win. Houston plus 2.5.
I think I'm going to go under 60 here. I mean, the point spread is enough at first blush. Again, I'm doing this all sort of gut reaction with no prep. The point spread's weird enough that I just kind of want to stay away. If I was getting a more favorable number, maybe like a Profit X has like a -3.5, so you get Houston plus 3.5. That would be interesting, but we're not really doing betting exchanges here. 2.5 is really the only number available legally. So I think I'm going to go total. I'm going to go under 60. Houston, not super offensively adept, as we've seen throughout the year. Baylor does have strong quarterback play, as we have seen, but going against Houston's defense, I think maybe they could limit the shorter possessions, more field goals than touchdowns. And then Houston's run game, do you have the run game you need to take advantage of where Baylor is weak? I would argue no. So this plays to me like an under, and I think 60 is kind of surprisingly high given the teams that we're looking at here.
Yeah. Well, I think the expectation is still Baylor scores a lot of points, which I don't think is quite as true as people perceive it.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, what has Baylor scored in their last, let's say, month of games? Scored 17 on Arizona, scored 28 on Utah, 30 on UCF, 20 on Cincinnati. I mean, that to me doesn't play like a 60, especially when you're going against the second best defense in the conference, maybe. I mean, arguably, we could debate, but they would be in the mix for that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. We're gonna move on to a break. We'll be right back.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
Okay, we got a few more games to get to still. We're not out of the morning slate yet, which is ridiculous. All right, Kansas State needs one more win to reach bowl eligibility. We didn't talk about this. We didn't have a Monday show, but hint, hint, nudge, nudge, sneak peek. I feel confident that they're probably going to pick that 6th win up this weekend and go to a bowl game. They're hosting Colorado at 11 a.m., this one on FS1. Former Big 8 and Big 12 rivals who... Does this not feel like it should have a trophy? Like, am I not wrong? Like, Colorado, Kansas State don't like each other at all. They were in the same conference for so long. They've played 67 times against each other. Like, it feels like it should be a trophy game. Like, we got Farmageddon. Like, how is this not a trophy game? I don't understand it. Just again, there's a rivalry called the Old Oaken Bucket. Like, pull up some news article from the archives from the first time they met all the way back in like 1912 and be like, hey, here's a crazy thing that happened. Let's call it based off of that. You know, in their first meeting, Kansas State was the Aggies and Colorado was the Silver and Gold. Those were the team names. Use that. There you go. Work off of that, kids. Make a trophy, a rivalry name. That's what you have to work on. Colorado leads the all-time series 45-21-1, by the way. Chase, you wanted to add something here?
Yeah, for the Andor fans out there, if we're naming a rivalry here for Kansas State, Colorado, Stone and Sky, something high, something low. I mean, we got ideas.
Okay. Well, we just do high low, but yeah, Stone and Sky works. That's good. I like that.
Rebellions were built
does that
on
work?
Manhattan,
Does that work
Kansas.
when Colorado's literally in Boulder? Wouldn't that get confusing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to workshop it. We'll take it. We'll take it back. We'll take it back to formula.
Be like Stone and Wind, because one's got like waving wheat, one's got.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Okay. Kansas State currently a 16.5, 17.5 point home favorite. Total in this one. Hold on, it's reset on me again. I gotta get it. I can't get this thing.
49.5 if you like the over, 50.5 if you like the under.
Cool.
What I'm seeing.
I think you're first on this one, Chase. What would you like?
I'm gonna go, I think, under. This strikes me as a game that everybody just wants to be over as fast as possible. It's the end of the year. Colorado's playing out the string. Like you said, these programs don't really care for each other too much. I don't know how much that actually bleeds onto the field in this year's particular game because of the new conference stuff, but it just feels gut level like an under to me, and I'm certainly not going to lay 17.5 for Kansas State right now. Not really interested in Colorado as a side.
Yeah, I think like it's either Kansas State or the under. Like you're either going to say, all right, Kansas State's just going to come in there, blow out Colorado because Colorado doesn't have anything to play for. The season's done. They just want to go away. Kansas State players they want to get to a bowl game. And they tried to beat Utah last week. I don't think that's some sign that they've like turned the corner or something. But also I think they know they want to get a 6th win. Like they'd love to beat Colorado. I think K-State's going to be way more motivated to win this game than Colorado is even going to be to like be there. I think the under is probably the right side because I could very much see a like 38-7 kind of win for Kansas State in which they cover and we stay on the under. I don't know how much I expect from Colorado's offense. They changed quarterbacks again. Caden Salter this weekend.
Can somebody explain to me, somebody that's a Colorado fan, what the quarterback strategy is on that team? Because I'm a smart person, and I don't know what Dion's doing.
At this point, it's so did Juju can redshirt, and I guess it's Salter's last game. Like at this point, it's like they don't have a strategy. There is no strategy. There's not one. This season is an absolute wash. So I'll ride with you. I'm gonna take the under. The only way to me this goes over is Kansas State just goes out and puts up 60 for no reason. Like I don't. They're the only team I can see in this game is going to be remotely motivated. Okay, moving on to a game that's absolutely not a rivalry and doesn't feel like a rivalry and shouldn't be a rivalry and doesn't even make sense as a Big 12 conference game. It's BYU versus UCF. Again, that's a Big 12 conference game. Does that make any sense to any of you? I love having these teams in the Big 12. Don't get me wrong. Like, don't misunderstand. BYU is awesome. UCF is awesome. I'm glad both are in the Big 12 conference. But this doesn't make any sense as a Big 12 conference game. I am struggling on this unabated to find things, man. Like, I may have to go back to Visa.
You know there's a search bar at the top, right?
Oh, I just like to scroll down. Stop telling me things I should be able to figure out on my own. Wasn't prepared. My own fault. Fifth all-time meeting and second as members of the Big 12 Conference. BYU winning in Orlando last year, 37-24. BYU leads the all-time series 3-1. This one is at noon Central Time kickoff on ESPN2 out there in Provo. BYU currently a 17.5-point favorite. Total in this one's 47.5. I think I'm first here. BYU minus 17.5. The night game, day game stuff doesn't matter. Like it's the finale. BYU, like they need to win this game so they can go to Arlington. I don't think you want to take any chances. Like just get out there and beat them. By the way, the only one who doesn't have BYU covering this number is Tishu, who has BYU minus 13. Beta's got it at BYU minus 30, which is by far the biggest one. I think BYU wins big, goes home, and starts preparing for Arlington.
Yeah, you and I are going to be on opposite sides here, actually. I'm going to be on UCF plus the points. It is trending dangerously close to BYU hate from me at this point, and I do apologize to the Cougar fans who are probably annoyed with me at this point. This is totally about the number. Obviously, I think BYU is going to win the game. I think BYU should get serious consideration, if not obvious inclusion, in the field of 12. And I wish them luck in the conference championship game. I think a good showing will get them in. I think the issue here for me is there's not a lot of evidence this year that BYU wins games by margins like this. And it's one of those weird situations where analytically we know BYU is 17 points better than UCF. That's not really in question, but they don't win a lot of games by 17 points. Just not really who they are. This is not Texas Tech. They do not win games by 28 or 42 or whatever. You know, they just kind of play close games. And yes, I am aware that on one or two occasions this year, they have won by 3 scores or more. But more often than not, this is not a margin they win by. And so I'm actually I'm gonna play the odds here that, you know, BYU play. You have multiple opportunities here. Like anytime you're laying 17.5, the back door's open. That's number one. They are playing kind of vanilla, trying to keep people healthy for next week. And win by 14. That's number two. UCF that plays very inspired ball. I think they technically could still make a bowl game, I think, hypothetically,
yes.
Right?
Yeah, they've got 5 wins.
Maybe you get like a really tight first half from UCF where they really throw the kitchen sink at you and it's a 4-point game at halftime and then BYU blows it open in the second half. So there's a lot of paths to covering when you're getting 17 points in the hook. I will be on the UCF side here.
Okay. We are against each other. Love when that happens. Doesn't happen very often. All right. Last Big 12 game on the slate. The only afternoon game. This one, 2:30 God's time on Fox. I'm not even going to pretend rivalry stuff with this one. It's TCU versus Cincinnati. I think they've played like 4 times ever. This, like the Houston Baylor game, is so confusing to me. TCU is a 3.5 point home favorite for Cincinnati. Total on this one is 56.5. Chase, you're up first here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I mean, my thoughts are this is probably the right line for an end of November game. This is another team where you have to say, okay, I had a handicap of you that was very specific on October 31st. What have you done in November? You lost to Utah. You lost to Arizona at home. You lost to BYU at home. So I'm doing some quick math here. Cincinnati is 0-3 outright this month and has been outscored 101 to 52. That's not great. Sorsby, we have talked about, has not quite been as crisp. Some players have been hurt. When you're talking about a guy like Sorsby, who we really appreciate, but we would never say is the most talented quarterback in the conference, I think maybe he regresses more than others would when you start to have guys around him not healthy, not available. So I think, and obviously the level of competition has been tougher for Cincinnati this month as well. So you can factor all of that kind of together and assign weight where you want. But they're just not playing as well right now. And so I think the line to me makes sense. I think looking at how their games have trended and looking at what Cincinnati has done offensively, I'm going to punt to you temporarily because I'm going to go look up a team total. But I think what I want to do here is play against the Cincinnati offense is the angle that I'm interested in taking.
Okay. TCU the last 4 weeks, they're 2-2 in these games, but they scored 17, 13, 17, 23. Like the fact that both these teams have the same record when I think Cincinnati is better than the team than TCU is crazy. Cincinnati, albeit against Utah, Arizona, and BYU, has scored 14, 24, and 14. Just give me the under for the game. Like it's 56.5. Maybe this is a weird, wild shootout. Oh, there's a 57. I'll take it. There's a 57.5. Hello, Bet Rivers. You are a gem. All right, under 57.5 on this one. I'm just gonna take the game under. I don't. Nothing matches up with how I feel. FEI is the only one that favors Cincinnati in this one by 0.7. Everyone else is on TCU anywhere from 0.5 to 5.12. The totals all slightly lean under. There's one beta's got a 60. Everybody else is like a 56 to around 55. So I'm going to go with the under because I do think this is probably a game where they both it's like a 24-20, 24-17 kind of game more than it's going to be two teams in the upper 20. So I'm going to take the under 57.5.
Yeah, and I think that's a totally good handicap. I would join you too here. For the sake of just being interesting, I'll be slightly different here and I'll take Cincinnati team total under 26.5.
What a wild season. Same record, and yet I still think Cincinnati's the better team. Like I know they're 0-3, but you're also 0-3 against two of the best teams in the conference,
probably
Utah and
the three
BYU.
best teams. Yeah.
Well, Arizona's one of them. Who's
you're right.
Playing way better. So that's fine. All right, we wrap the show up the same way every week. We pick one non-Big 12 game of our choosing to roll with. I think I actually have to go first here, but I got to look up some numbers. I've got 3 options that I'm considering. Let's see. Yes, good. Okay, that's one option. I've got one where the numbers say the wrong team is favored. I've got, what is the number here? One where the numbers say they're not favored by enough. And I've got one where I've got a wrong team favored. Okay, if I'm gonna have a shot at this, you know what? We said I could go 0-3. I could go 0-3, but I'm gonna test my theory of stop picking the wrong one and just do all of them. I'm gonna make 3 non-Big 12s right now.
Whoa.
Because I'm either gonna this is how I do it. I'm 8 games under 500. I'm either gonna just go out with a bang, or I'm gonna drive my way all the way back up into actually getting close to 500. So that's what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna take all 3 that I have. All right, number 1. I'll read through all of them real quick. Number 1 is a wrong team favorite situation. I'm taking Louisiana Tech plus 2.5 at Missouri State. I believe that's the best. Yeah, it's pretty much the consensus across the board. SP plus, TSU, FEI, and Pair all favor Louisiana Tech. Parker's got Missouri State, but by 1.1. I can look at what Beta has, and Beta has Missouri State by 6. But like Louisiana Tech's been way better than anyone expected them to be this year. I'm going to take Louisiana Tech to probably pull it off, just straight up pull it off this week. That's the goal. That's what we need for me to have this successful. Next one I'm going to do is a team that is not favored by enough. I'm going to take Memphis minus, what is the best one I can get here? 4.5. Perfect. Minus 4.5 against Navy. Everybody favors Memphis by more than 4.5. Everybody. And they're at home. And so I like that. I mean, it's not like by a ton extra, but I've got, let's see, where's Memphis on beta? Because I didn't have all my beta numbers written up. Are you not going to work now? Come on. No, I need this conference. Memphis, 6. Okay, everyone's got Memphis favored by more than 4.5. So I'm going to take Memphis minus. Did I say 4.5? I found one. Yeah, minus 4.5. And then the last one.
Where do you see a 4.5? I don't see a 4.5.
Oh, I thought I did. I may not. Hold on. I may be lying. Novig.
That's an exchange.
Oh, okay. Sticks. Bet 105.
I believe all of those are exchanges. STX is the. So on this platform, what you want to look at is like FanDuel, DraftKings, Fanatics, ESPN Bet for the next 6 days, Bet365.
Okay, 5.5.
Hard Rock, BetMGM, Caesars.
I'll take 5.5. I think they win by a touchdown. I'll take 5.5. I still feel good. All right, last one is the only one that I feel the most scared about, but I'm going to do it anyways. It's another wrong team favored. I'm going to take. Where is it? Come on. Load it up. Let me see the line. Okay. I'm taking Florida State plus 1.5. Everything favors FSU to win. And it's not by an especially, it's like 7 by 7.1, 5, 4, 9.2, 2.9, and Beta has it as 3.22. Everyone favors Florida State. I'm just going to ride with it and say they pull off the road upset in the rivalry game. I know what Florida State's looked like this season. I know this is probably a terrible bet. Plus 1.5 is the best I could do, so that's what I'll take.
I think there's only one of those games I would actually even consider betting a side in. But if you gave me $300 and said you can bet $100 on a side in each of those games, I think I would be on opposite sides of you on all 3 of those games. That's fun. I do have a bet in one of them, though, which is Navy Memphis. I am on the over 58.5. And now I should look and see if there's any better numbers currently available. What I bet it at 58.5 yesterday. 3 straight overs in this game, average of 67 points per game. And when you look at the passing defenses for both teams, they both rank outside the top 100 in EPA per pass allowed. I believe one of them, I can't remember which one, it might be Navy's, is below 130. So pretty terrible passing defense is there. So I would lean, this is the one I would bet a side on. I would consider Navy plus the points, especially if you get a better number than 5.5. If this starts to get to 6.5, 7, I will be pulling trigger on Navy. But the total there is really where I think the opportunity is. I don't see any 58 at Bet365, 58 at Fanatic. So 58 is the best number I'm going to get. And
I'm not going to add another one. I'm good with 3. I'm good with my 3.
I'll add a second just for fun since you took a swing 3 times. Give me under 62.5 in Ole Miss, Mississippi State. This is the Egg Bowl. I believe it's on Thursday. You like an under in a rivalry game to begin with, especially like a really intense rivalry like this one is. Huge total at 62.5, so you like that as well. How about this stat? 8 straight unders in the Egg Bowl. 8-0, the under. If you're blind betting it every year. If you look at just the games in Starkville, 6-1 for the last 7 Starkville Egg Bowls to the unders. So some pretty good trends there that tell you this game is lower scoring generally than the market anticipates that it is. And that would seem to be the case again this year with a 62.5 on the board.
All I have to do is go 2-1 in my nons to win. So if I can just do that. I can just make that happen. Okay. It's been great. Chase, as always, it's a pleasure. Yep. We are not done. We will do championship week, and unless something happens, we will also do bowl picks this year. We'll pick every Big 12 bowl game.
My wife is not currently pregnant, Phillip, so right. I like my chances to attend the bowl episode this year.
Well, we just didn't do it last year because I was like, well, I don't want to chase. I don't have anybody to do it. So, championship week, we'll do bowl picks. Well, we'll do bowl picks as well. Hopefully we'll have guests for both those. We will, fingers crossed, be back on Monday to recap the weekend and preview the Big 12 championship. Probably talk a little bit of hoops as well. So y'all, happy Thanksgiving. Eat turkey, drink, take a nap, watch football, have a good weekend. Be safe.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.